What's up, guys? This is Kyle Rose back as usual with another video, and today we're going to be talking more about gaming. And with gaming is the addictions of video games is going crazy right now, and like a lot of people are going and staying at home and they're playing games and they're going back into many of the sins or the addictions that they have accumulated and have it acquired throughout their lives. And like if you had a job and maybe like your job laid you off because of the pandemic or whatever reason it may be, you might be at home playing video games all day once again, and it's just very, very depressing at times. And it's like, I've been in that situation before, so it's like, why are people so addicted with video games? There's like a scientific reason. And I mean, there's a lot of reasons behind being addicted to something in general. Like when you're addicted to something, you naturally have like dopamines coming like in your brain, and it just tells you and it signals that you like this over and over and over again. It's like an instant pleasure that you cannot get rid of, and that's a lot of like what multiplayer games are in particular, not necessarily single player games. There's certain single player games that if you're addicted with, you might play over and over and over again, but nowadays it's like with multiplayer games, a lot of multiplayer games. And that's the thing, when it comes to the fact of going back into the 2000s, you had a lot of single player games because there was barely any multiplayer, and it was hard to get online. You had Halo and stuff like that, but just to have online with those type of games or with like a PS2 might be difficult for some like family members or family households, and like it was just harder for them to find like internet or whatever the case may be. So now we have so much access to the internet, it's absolutely ridiculous. You have, Overwatch, and you have the 4 gig and 5 gigs that's going to come out in the future. And it's like so much accessibility with like video games. So when it comes to like playing people online, that's so much easier to do because playing people online is just like the click of a button. You just turn on your PlayStation, for example, your PlayStation 5 or your PlayStation 4, and you're just like instantly online. Like if you have internet, obviously you're instantly online. So it's like a lot of this is incentivizing people to play games online every day, all day. And that's why it's just very unfortunate that we're in this situation, because it's like people are going back to what they was doing in the past, when they was a teenager or a child or whatever the case may be, or they might be struggling with it now, and maybe it's getting worse because of the pandemic. It's like a lot of this is very unfortunate, and it's like gaming is beautiful. Gaming is awesome. Like you have so much things that you can do within the gaming universe. It's like, that's why it's also an addiction. Another reason why it's an addiction, because it's such a different reality to the reality that we have in real life. And it's like, you don't have to deal with the people that you might dislike or have at your job, for example, that you don't like. You go home and you play something like Dark Souls, a world where it's like fantasy driven, or Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts, or anything like the driven game that is like immersive, BioShock, the trilogy. And it's like those games are just absolutely amazing to just be in and see yourself as this one character that's like doing all of these amazing things in his world. You feel like the hero of your own world, and that it causes an addiction in itself, because escapism is a form of an addiction. Because when you're trying to escape reality, it's not as easy as it seems, because when you do that, you just stay in the reality that you put yourself in. So I believe that in terms of video games, it could be a sense of reality. Gaming is a sense of believing what you see. Like for example, I believe in Second Life games, such as like The Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, and Oblivion, and the entire series, like that, the entire series of the Elder Scrolls is such an addicting game because of how much immersion it is to be in that game. Just being in the game is just absolutely insane, to walk around in a sandbox world that is seemingly endless. A seemingly endless world, and that's why people love open world single player games, because it feels more like you're into the environment and everything that's within the environment, and you're feeling more engaged, you feel more immersed within that environment, and it's just awesome to be in that situation. It's like, that's why a lot of people, I had a friend that said it would be so cool to play like Spider-Man in like a first person way, to swing across buildings. And I said, yo, that would actually be dope if they had some type of like gameplay mode aspect, like if you had a first person / third person view of Spider-Man in Spider-Man PS4 or Spider-Man Miles Morales. That'll be sick to be in those like animations in first person if they was to do that. And a lot of like YouTubers will make videos on that. That'll be fucking amazing. With games like or like fighting games in particular. Fighting games are an egregious example of an addicting gameplay style, because if you're good at a fighting game, let's say, and a lot of people, that's the thing, a lot of people are not good at fighting games, and that's why fighting games is such a niche, because it's so hard to get into with the inputs, with like understanding Oki, understanding neutral, understanding mix-ups, understanding how to get into your opponent. Maybe if you play a game like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, you might have to do assist, or Dragon Ball Fighters, you might have to learn the only mechanic that's within a fighting game, which is Dragon Rush. You might have to learn how to stop a Dragon Rush on a fucking 7-frame lag, or something like a Vegito auto combo, understanding auto combo and how that is being put into the game, and how you have to stop people from fucking auto comboing and auto correcting like Dragon Ball Fighters. It's just like there's so much complication when it comes to fighting games like MK11 and Blaze Blue. It's just absolutely amazing though when you master those mechanics. That's why I believe when it comes to like video games and the addiction of video games, it all depends on who you are as a person when it comes to particular video games. If you're into like single player games that you feel immersed in, or something like that, like Resident Evil or any like type of horror game, for example, if you're into like a horror game that puts you into the shoes of the person, like Outlast or Resident Evil 7, like those first person scary ass horror games that are like, damn, I'm in this person's shoes and I am absolutely frightened. And like people are addicted to being frightened. People are also addicted to fighting people, as well as those people are addicted to like platforming games. I love Sonic the Hedgehog, so I'm not saying that I'm addicted to Sonic in particular, but I love Sonic games and I play them every other day. So it's like, to me, that is important to understand. Like, addiction varies when it comes to video games, and video games as a whole is just such a powerful, it's just so powerful of like an industry, because people are able to make so much money out of like gaming. I want to make a video also about microtransactions, because I believe that microtransactions are a very bad thing when it comes to like misusing people's monies in their pockets and stuff like that, like cosmetics, and how they did Battlefront 2 and how what they're doing with Smite and like all these other MOBA games. It's just absolutely sinful and egregious to do that type of shit. But you know, it's like, that's for another video. And this is about the end of the video. I think that when it comes to like gaming as an addiction varies, and like once you are starting to get into something, you are not going to stop because of that dopamine. The dopamine, it all starts with dopamine, and it's like when you start feeling the reward of it, you start wanting to do it again, and when you do it again, you want to do it again and again and again and again, not having any type of inhibitor. And that's the thing, like if you don't have any type of mental inhibitor that stops you from like having so much fun, then you will never know self-control, and that's where addiction starts. It's the lack of self-control. And yeah, so that is the video. If you like this video, give me a follow, and I will catch you on the future videos that I make regarding gaming and Sonic content. This is Kai Rose, and I will catch you all guys on the next video. Peace.